Would you
What's
say?
that?
Would you say this landscape looks like an old constable's painting?
Constable.
Yes, what I just said. What's so wrong with you, Parker?
I thought I misheard you there.
No, I wasn't swearing.
Constable, yeah. He did like all the.
The hayway. Is it the hayway?
Yeah, the hayway and things. Yeah, he did paint round this area. Actually, he painted much more around Salisbury, but it's not that far away, is it? I mean, it is his sort of landscape. I mean, the British landscape is absolutely
what's Wiltshire,
beautiful.
Between Hampshire.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Actually, it's amazing to think this is actually not far
where we live.
from where we live, is it really?
In a few years, it will be built on houses.
Yeah, when I keep seeing these blocks of houses they keep putting into like countryside like this, I mean, it just makes me angry.
You feel the energy.
Yeah, it is. I think it's an old landscape, isn't it?
It feels like you know, the energy fields, doesn't it? Ley lines. There must be a ley lines around here. You can feel the energy.
Well, it wasn't that far away from here that we found that what was it called? The crop circle, wasn't it?
Yeah, but you can actually feel the ley lines. I can feel them.
Yeah.
You feel the magnetic forces beneath your feet here.
Yeah, I think you do feel it. I do. I sense it in these areas. I'd love to paint again, actually. I'd love these areas to paint because I used to enjoy painting.
What are you doing now then, Craig? Doodling?
Yeah, doodling. Actually, most good painting comes from doodling, actually. You know, I remember I did get accepted into St Martin's Art College, so I must have been pretty bloody good. But I never heard anybody so talented as me.
I've never heard somebody that praises herself so much.
Oh, Pal was a good painter. I was a brilliant painter. But the problem is...
You're not a very good house husband, though.
No, but nobody wanted paintings, did they? They all wanted installations, and they wanted shock, and they wanted obscene pictures.
One of your
paintings
looks like looking down a sewage.
Yeah,
There's
well, I did...
peeping up out of
kind of a bit
drains.
Surreal, wasn't it? Surrealist painting, I suppose.
Nightmares.
But then I also did a lot of spiritual-minded paintings, sort of like mandalas and things like that. I don't know. Painting's coming back, but when I see some of the stuff that some people do, it's absolutely fantastic. What some more artists are doing now.
Tapestries and mandalas.
Yeah, well, you're pretty artistic.
I like art.
I think that artistic...
Like surrealism.
I think creativity and psychic things are very, very strongly interlinked.
Yeah, the beauty.
Creative people and people that are psychic are the same thing.
Well, I mean, I like that Toya Wilcox because she's quite creative and got good ideas, and where she does all this surreal stuff and that. Very good.
Yeah, because you're into it lately, aren't you, with Fripp and all that?
Well, I like creative people, and I like people that are different.
Yeah.
Because they don't follow the sheep, because they're individuals.
That's I liked her. Of course, I gave her that reading, didn't I? That time on the Psychic Family programme. Very nice girl, actually. Very pleasant person. Yeah. I don't think so many people know about her now, but I think she in her time she was a big name.
Was that in the 70s and 80s? It's a mystery.
I don't even remember any of her songs.
A mystery.
Was it?
Yeah, a mystery.
But they started doing lockdown
I don't want to go to school. That one.
Okay. Ooh.
I want to break the rules.
Yeah.
It's a mystery. She goes all like that, doesn't she?
Yeah. I always used to get her songs confused with Landy Lennox's songs.
Who's Land? Oh.
Annie Lennox.
You're confused.
What with you with Constable and me with Annie Lennox?
It's called spoonerisms. Spoonerisms.
Yeah, like when you say bitten to death by midgets.
I probably was.
Or Jason and the Juggernauts, I remember you referring to. Yeah. There was a man called Spooner, actually.
Spoonerisms.
But going back to the thing, I think that I think creative gifts, people that are creative are also psychic. There was some studies done by it by a psychologist called Einznick, I think his name was, who correlated between people that are creative, and it's usually psychic people are also much more extrovert, outgoing. You know, would you agree with that? I
used to be such a shy girl.
But it's true though. I think creativity is the step to the divine, actually. Yeah, I mean, when a person, but it depends what you call creativity again, though, doesn't it? Because I don't think a lot of this crap that you see in the galleries is creative in my book. It's just shock. It's shock. It's theatre. It's nothing to do with beauty and art and inspiration. But it doesn't mean to say art has to be all insipid.
I like the pre-Raphaelite paintings myself, and surrealism.
Yeah.
And cubism, that's what I like.
You like cubism, yeah. But I thought that Pre-Raphaelites, people consider them to be really bad taste, but I think they're lovely paintings. I mean, there's a lot round here. That place we went to in Guildford, didn't we? And there's all those Pre-Raphaelite
That's
paintings.
the Allen.
Yeah, and there's stuff in Bournemouth.
And some of the
Birmingham has a big exhibition.
Some of the Dutch masters.
Southampton Art Gallery, sorry.
Dutch masters were nice in Holland. Some of those, when you look at the detail.
Yeah. I thought Rembrandt. I mean, when we saw those Rembrandts in the Hermitage in Russia, and there's all the people off the boat, and they're all queuing up to get one glimpse at it, and you get one glimpse of the Rembrandt, and everybody queues up for it. And all those people, they were just ticking things off their list, weren't they? Now I've seen it. And they didn't appreciate the fantastic beauty of his paintings.
As well.
Yeah, well,
William
Pepworth House we saw those.
William Blake, original that. And
those etchings were in Pepworth House, weren't they?
yeah, beautiful.
Of course, he's a poet, really, but his etchings were good too.
Yeah, I like all that. I like artistic people.
Now, Blake was an interesting man.
It had a flow with it, didn't it?
William Blake, when he died, he died singing because he could hear the angels' voices. He said he was so convinced that there was another life.
He said that on his deathbed.
Yeah, on his deathbed, and he had in the end he had a sort of group of devotees of him because he was not recognised in this life apart from a small group of people, a bit like me actually, and you.
Recognise? Who recognises
Not
you?
recognised, but a few people recognise that you've got something.
Well, at least, Craig, you recognise yourself.
Yeah. But it's Blake was a fantastic person.
Can you name one woman artist?
There's not many good women artists, if I'm honest.
Can you name one?
One good woman artist. Barbara Hepworth, but she's a sculptress.
It's a sculpture.
So
it's Elizabeth Flink, she was a sculptor.
Yeah.
I've had
and that one that came to see you, what was her name?
Stella Vine.
That's it, Stella Vine. She was very good. And there's also the woman that does all the pictures of her bed covered in pee and things like that.
Oh, that's
Tracy Emmett or something in there. But I can't.
Art.
You see, that's theatre to me. They're still valid, still very good.
Like
I think brilliant stuff, but it's not art. It's art with a capital F. That is.
That means in uncertain words, off.
Yeah.
No, I like the beauty. I like to see a painting, and you can really see different things in it all the time. The textures, the colours. And one of my favourite colours in the religious icons and paintings, lapis blue.
Yeah, because it was made with lapis lazuli, so it was the most expensive paint. That's why you like it. Yeah, absolutely. That and gold.
Yeah.
Icons started with gold, and I think lapis with people like Titian and that. I mean, Titian put huge amounts of lapis to get the sky sort of lines like this, and they were valuable just for the paint alone.
What about the Botticellis?
Botticelli, he was another brilliant painter. Yeah. As we saw all those in the Uffizi Gallery.
Yeah. I'd go back there again.
Who's your favourite?
Favourite artist?
Apart from me.
I think his name was Henry Roussel.
Rousseau, yeah.
And he was a postman, wasn't he?
That's it, yeah. He was just a Sunday painter, they called him, because he only painted on the Sundays. So he wasn't a professional artist as such.
Sounds my kind of man.
And his art was quite childlike.
It wasn't that childlike. He'd done jungles
it was painted
tigers,
in a childlike technique.
But you could see into it, couldn't you?
I thought his imagery was brilliant. The snake charmer and the snake charmer was a brilliant one.
And the naughtiness I like in art was Michelangelo, when you went to Assisi Chapel and he drew naughty bits.
Oh yeah, and all sorts of. He had the devil's face on the Pope. He had the devil's face on the face of the Pope on the devil, didn't he, above the door?
Yeah.
And they couldn't complain because it looked just familiar. Yeah, things like that.
That's fun.
Because all those artists, we all look at it as great art, but they were really unable to express any ideas because they were confined by the church, weren't they? And then the establishment next, with all these stately homes that would have peppered these hillsides here, they insist. That's why I don't like people like Reynolds, for example, and Gainsborough, because they were just painting for the aristocracy.
I don't like
aristocracy,
Gainsborough.
And Fragonard. Have you ever seen Fragonard?
Bruegel. What about Bruegel with the birds? What about
some
Bruegel?
medium said to me, in a past life, Craig, you were the painter Fragonard.
Oh.
And I thought, Fragonard, I've Snowy as well. What's that like? And I went and had a look and thought, oh my God, it's like chocolate box sort of painting. Women in big flowing dresses on swings. Yeah.
What about Bruegel? And
Bruegel, yeah, Bruegel. We saw him in... Where did we see Bruegel's work? We saw it.
I think that was in a palace somewhere, wasn't it?
Did we see it in England? Or did we see it
in
abroad?
Hampton Court or somewhere along a gallery?
Funny, and I was looking at the pictures. I was saying that when I was looking at the on the bathroom tiles, you can see all these images in the in the marble, you know. And I see pictures of Bruegel.
The air freshener again in there. You've been sniffing the air freshener.
Yeah. All the pictures, I saw Bruegel scene. There's like Bruegel-like creatures, yeah. So sit there and hallucinate.
When you look at that, it was quite sinister, those birds, weren't they, really?
What, in Bruegel?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was a Garden of Earthly Delights and all that, you know. Terrifying things. I mean, that was, we think we have it bad with this coronavirus. Did you think of Earthly Delights
in the bathroom then, when you've seen all these pictures?
I say, you can see things in
Anywhere.
random images, and again, that's psychic, isn't it? That's the active imagination. The cyclists seem to get everywhere, don't they?
Mm. They must know we're coming here.
Anyway, I think art and psychic
and music
and all creative stuff that's where the psychic comes from. The muse starts to talk back, basically.